Leadership Hall of Fame. In this series, we'll take a look at some leaders of our time and what they did to get into the Hall of Fame. Let's take a look at leader number one, Ann Schreiber. Not very many people know about Ann Schreiber. That is because she was a rather unassuming person until what she did at the end of her life that blew people's minds. We can learn a lesson from Ann in growth effectiveness. John Maxwell says, leadership develops daily, not in a day. In other words, we need to allow time for our investments in ourselves to compound and grow. We need to allow for time for what we invest back into our lives to expand. And over time, we will see that our leadership has developed. But not in a day, daily. Ann Schreiber was 101 years old in 1995. She lived in a tiny rent-controlled studio apartment. Can you imagine paint peeling off the wall and bookcases covered in dust? She paid $400 a month for rent and lived on Social Security and pension. She retired as an auditor at 51. Now, while that sounds remarkable, she was making just $31.50 a year. Now, back in those days, that was a rather average amount of money, so it wasn't on the lowest end of the spectrum, but it was definitely not on the highest end either. She was the model of thrift, spent no money on herself, didn't buy newspapers, and read the Wall Street Journal in the library. Now, what she did at the end of her life is what underscores John's law number 3 in the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. Leadership develops daily, not in a day. She left a mind-blowing, ridiculously huge windfall to Yeshiva University. The president of Yeshiva had never heard of her. Who was this lady that left a $22 million fortune for the university? She became a legend overnight. How did a spinster, retired for 50 years, build an 8-figure fortune? She did it a day at a time. She bought stock, let it compound, took those compounded values and put them back in again, and kept on doing that for 50 years. She understood and applied the law of process. What you do day by day over the long haul matters. Becoming a leader is the same way. Don't let a day go by without expanding on your leadership abilities. Learn, study, listen to audio, video, lessons from people who have gone ahead of you to explore the world of leadership. People like John Maxwell, the likes of Tony Robbins, the likes of Jack Canfield, and many more like that. The great Les Brown, and I could go on and on. But do not stop learning. I often tell students, have you visited Masterclass to see what is new? Take a look at what's out there. Take a look at what's out there in the world of business. Bob Iger recently put out a leadership training course. The former CEO of Starbucks did the same, and Anna Wintour, who we all know, did similar for the world of fashion. But leadership pans across industries. So my question to you is, what are you doing to learn more about leadership daily? Have you subscribed to John C. Maxwell's Minute with Maxwell? Are you studying leadership on your own? Are you trying to understand universal leadership laws so that you can do better in leadership? Are you aware that as a project manager, you are expected to lead, as it were, without authority? How do you expect to pull that off if you are not intentionally and deliberately studying, putting back into yourself? Make money, put it back into yourself. You are your most important investment. So don't just make money, spend money on yourself to better understand leadership, to better understand all of these concepts that you've learned about. Mentoring, coaching, be a river, not just onto other people, but back into yourself. And in that way, you can more effectively give into the lives of others. So what is leadership? The true measure of leadership is influence. In order to influence, you do need to read and study and let the laws of leadership marinate and practicalize them. And that's how you become a better leader, a day at a time. What you do over the long haul is what matters. You want your assets in yourself to compound over time. And don't ever stop putting back into yourself. I hope you enjoyed this first series of the Leadership Hall of Fame. I look forward to seeing you in more episodes. Bye for now.